Today we're going to be talking about our various Leopard Gecko items. We're going to start here.
So we did one video where we kind of did a quick setup, but this one we're going to go detailed. We're going to show every item that we use in our tank, and then we'll have links below for them. So this is the Exoterra
Medium low.
It's 24 inches by 18 inches by 12 high. And what we put as a substrate on ours is these tiles that we got at Home Depot. You go above it, you can see we did have to cut 2 pieces to fit in here. We used a wet tile saw for that. If you don't have it, I believe they can cut it for you at Home Depot or Lowe's or any home improvement store. And then the background itself, we cut about maybe a ½ inch off the bottom so that it would fit in here tight with the tiles in there. So what we also have, so Leopard Geckos generally go to the bathroom in the same spot every time. Ours goes in this back corner. So what we do is put a small tile back there.
Which we also got at Home Depot.
Yeah, these can also be purchased at any home improvement store.
Home Depot, Lowe's, etc.
Or if you're good at cutting tile, you could just cut one of these big ones. Because I know we got 5 of these tiles for around $7, so we didn't use them all. And then we also keep a cup of calcium in at all times. So what we did was glue, I don't know if it's a milk cap or Gatorade cap or whatever.
No, it was an iced tea cap. That's
iced
what it
tea
was.
cap.
It was one of your iced teas.
To another block, that way it doesn't get knocked over.
Yeah, he can't get it all over the tank unless he steps in it and walks around.
And then,
what else do we have?
Underneath, if you back up a second, I'm going to kind of look at the tank a second. And this is an absolute necessity. Can you see it in there? You might have to
The styrofoam?
No, above this. Come see if you can show the heat pad there.
Oh yeah, the heat pad.
There you go. So there's a heat pad underneath.
Exoterra, I think?
Zoom Ed.
Oh no, it's Zoom Ed.
There's a lot of different brands. This one was taken off another tank, so it lost some of its stickiness.
Which is why there's styrofoam under it.
Yeah, just hold it up, and that way it won't. Don't have to worry about it burning the table. Very importantly, you need a thermostat, which we actually have it set to 89, sometimes to 90.
We've had it set to 91 before, too.
Yeah, it depends what it's running to. It's showing low right now because we took everything out.
Yeah.
And
there's the probe.
This is the probe that shows what temperature is. We leave our probe here, which would be about the center of where the mat is underneath here.
It's also right in front of his warm hide.
So that it keeps the surface temperature on his warm side at what we want it to be, which is generally right around 90 degrees. Generally, you would usually want to have 3 hides for a Leopard Gecko. One on the warm side, one on the cold side, and then one that actually goes kind of in between, so it's about halfway on the mat, and that's the moist hide. We use Eco Earth inside of ours to keep it moist, but you can use wet paper towels or other things.
You can use various.
You can even just use like a piece of Tupperware with a hole cut out for him as a moist hide.
Obviously, you'd have to stand it down, make sure he's not going to get cut on it, or she's not going to get cut on it.
So the way we have ours set up is this is our warm hide that we use. We have it generally positioned like that so it can go in, and then stay warm anywhere underneath there, and can climb on top if he wants to.
That used to be his water bowl, but we noticed he wasn't really drinking from it ever, so
yeah, that's
we
another
moved it.
thing that's nice about this side is if you don't have a lot of room, you could double as a water bowl as well. Is cold hide. I don't know where we got this. I couldn't find the exact...
We're assuming it's either a hermit crab or a fish hide.
Yeah. But all of our links, they may not be exactly the same as what we're using, but they're generally very close.
With some of the various plants, they are not exact, as well as various hides and things.
And then, I'm going to show in the box here. Ooh, watch the water.
Oh, sorry.
So here's his moist hide, which
he's
as you can see,
he wants to hide in it
kind
right
of
now.
crawling in now. So
Let's just turn it around
yeah,
here.
I'm going to show you.
There
so
he
there's
is.
the eco earth in there, and as you can see, he's looking pretty pale right now. So he's
He looks a little brighter over the camera, but he is pretty pale.
Getting ready to shed, and what's nice about the eco. Sorry,
okay,
buddy.
buds.
Let's scoot you over a second.
You can see it in the bottom there. It's nice and moist.
Come on.
He's like, let me go.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Can you show over here too? So all we have to do is generally daily, and you can actually see how this side is drying out quicker than the other side, and that's because we have it halfway over the heat mat. But generally once a day we just spray it, keep it moist, and then
over the camera it's harder to see the dry spots, but
about once a month or so we can change this eco earth out. And I like this one because it has a nice removable lid, which is real good for keeping the moisture in there.
Sometimes,
so for now, I'm going to leave that in here with him.
Sometimes we also moisten the top, just spray a little bit up there.
And I'm going to kind of move this box out of the way so we don't...
We like to
Do you want me to close it?
I think you should, because he can climb out.
Okay.
I cut a hole in the top today so that he has air, and there's also air holes on the sides.
So speaking of eco earth, we just got one of these bricks, and as you can see, you only need a tiny little bit because it expands so much.
Here's what about one brick turns into.
Yeah, this is what a brick looks like after it's been expanded.
We just bought this at Petco, PetSmart, one of those. You can get it on Amazon. You can get that at pretty much any pet store.
Okay, and then we use this as a water bowl.
Yeah.
You can use something like this as a water bowl. It really doesn't matter. Just something that's not real deep.
Originally, that was his feeding bowl, but then he never ate from it. So
yeah, and then we also got this because it's supposed to keep the worms or dubious from getting out, but they could still escape it. So
we ended up using it as a water bowl.
Actually, might switch this for now as his water bowl.
We only have this linked in the description, the mealworm one.
I'm gonna put this in.
Because the brown one over here is technically a mealworm feeding bowl.
And this is dechlorinated water that we're using. I'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Because we got a dechlorinizer, but we'll show you that later.
I keep this on the cold side so it doesn't get heated up and cause there to be too much humidity in the food. Alright, water bowl for food bowls.
Can I leave it open? Just because it's harder to see it through the glass.
This is the type of food bowl that we generally use.
We also found a dubia on top of the styrofoam today or something. So we put him in here.
It's got this nice rim lid so that worms and dubias cannot get out. Of course, you couldn't put crickets in there. They would not
You can
stay
get
in very long.
many things like this. We got ours from Rainbow Mealworms or something. But you can get many various feeding bowls like this. They're basically just plastic with rims. Superworms gotten out of this before, though, so
Some of our
I think they were crawling on top of each
we
other.
like to have vines on the sides so that they're not completely clear on the side. It gives the gecko a sense of security rather than having big open glass sides. So we have one on each side.
For the link in the description for these hanging plants, they are not exact. They're just very similar.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't really matter. It's whatever you prefer, whatever you think looks good.
It kind of depends on what kind of tank you're going for. If you want a more naturalistic looking tank, you obviously want leaves.
Then there's another one of our plants that we got.
Yeah. We put that back in the corner. He likes to hide behind it sometimes.
And then yet another plant, which I like to put up here. Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's right in the front.
And I like to have the leaf kind of overhang over the opening to his hide. Just gives him a little more security there.
Here's the hammock.
We have one of these hammocks for him to climb with over, and we're thinking about maybe moving it to one of these back corners, but
For now, it's just in the front.
right in the front, which is nice because when we go open the cage to feed him, a lot of times he will come and climb up on the hammock, or if he wants to come out for a little while, he will climb up on the hammock. So that's basically his setup right there. I'm going to go ahead and put his moist hide back in, which now he's out of it again.
Oh, there he is. Can we put him back in now, or should he stay in here?
Yeah, give me just a second.
I can put him back in. Tell me when his hide's back in there.
I'm also going to, well here, you want to show, I'm going to put the lid back on that. One of the reasons we like a front opening enclosure is that geckos
You're stepping on the cord, Dad.
don't like things coming from above. It can scare them, so these are nice because it has a top that you can put on when you're setting it up. But then when you want to take him out of the cage or feed him, you don't have to, oh, I need to fix this thing. You don't have to come from the top and scare him.
Can I put him back in now?
Yes.
Just
Here, let me hold the
he's
camera
getting
while we do
scared
that.
half to death. Oh, he's stuck to his fabric. No, it's okay. There you go. You're unstuck.
I'm going to put him on his hammock there.
You free, little guy.
Sometimes he doesn't want to go back in. Sometimes he actually likes to be out exploring. Okay.
I think he wants to sleep right now.
Hmm.
Well, I want to crush your tail.
You can leave it open.
Okay.
Alright, so there he is. Getting back in. And so that food bowl, we don't leave it in there all the time. For now, we're going to for the video. So this kind of shows you from above. You can see that he's got secure space in here, and then he's got open space as well. If I move that back there, he's got this nice open space in the middle as well. Okay, now we're going to get into more of the items that we have for taking care of him. So these are pretty much necessary, or some sort as close to necessary just for your basic care. So we did go over the thermostat there, which you can see it's already up.
It's already going up.
Yeah, it's almost up to 90 now.
You can see it's heating right now from the red light.
Now in the wintertime, our home can get very cold, especially at night. So we have what's called a ceramic heat emitter.
It doesn't cause any light. It only gives off heat, which is very essential because leopard geckos do not need basking lights. They don't need UVB. They like a little bit of UVB, but they don't need full-on basking like other animals do.
So this is the particular heat lamp we got, just Amazon. We got 2 of them.
We got this bulb.
This is the...
We got flukers for the lamp with the
lamp
dimmer.
head. The dimmer is important because that can keep it from getting too hot. So
Yeah, because it gets really warm.
basically, we just adjusted it to a temperature that kept
The heat.
the inside of this tank at a nice temperature.
I think you're going to have to move his food bowl because that's where his other food
yeah.
usually goes.
So
Can you
there
try
we
not
go.
to
So
step
that
on the cord?
keeps his warm side at a nice temperature for him. And then another way that we can keep an eye on ambient temps and the temperature is with this humidity and temperature gauge. And we actually leave it on the cool side at all times just to monitor it. Now, the most important thing as far as temperature is that As opposed to ambient temperature, the ground temperature on the warm side should be right around 90. So these nice little guns,
See how it says 80,
you can hit
84?
and you know, look at different areas and make sure it's the same. So as you can see, it's around here. Show this right here. Oh, it was on 90.
It's right
It's
around
around
90.
90 on the hot side, but if I go to the cold side,
It's 75, around 75.
around 75. So he's got a temperature gradient there.
This also tells temperature, but only of the warm side, so it's necessary to have something on the
Yeah,
cold
because
side.
this right here is the probe for the thermostat, which controls the heat mat. And then this shows us the ambient temperature, so not the ground temperature, but the air temperature in the tank. We have another thermometer, which Samantha has, that we can use if we need to monitor the air temperature on the warm side at the same time as well.
This one's
So
also not as accurate as
you can
the
either
other
put
ones.
this on your floor if you needed it to measure the floor temperature, or just have it out in the air to measure the ambient temperature on your warm side. And you'll see this light, how hot it gets if I actually aim this right on the bulb.
230, 250.
Which is why definitely you need to monitor your temperatures and make sure your bulb, you have the dimmer set to a good temperature for it.
You can see it's not giving off any light. It's completely dark. It's just giving off heat.
And I'm going to close this now. Got everything in there, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go in there again. No.
And then some other stuff we use for them. These are feeding tongs.
Both are linked in the description.
Metal and bamboo. Mostly we usually prefer the bamboo because sometimes if he strikes at his food,
He'll smack his
hit
face.
his face kind of hard on it. So, and
The
this is
bamboo
really
ones.
good for crickets because you don't. Sometimes if they get out in the cage, he can't get them. We don't want them running around his cage all the time. But we also use it for worms and dubias and stuff.
The metal
Other
tongs.
times we use his feeding bowl.
The metal tongs are sometimes used just to pick things up out of his tank because it's easier to grab with them.
This is just calcium. This is what we have in his little bowl. Now this is without D3. And the reason that is because our multivitamin contains calcium that does have D3. And this we use to dust his food every time we feed him. Now, if you are using UVB, you want to make sure that you don't have D3 in either one because they get their D3 from the UVB light. Now, we aren't using UVB light. That's why we supplement with D3.
It's always safe to use D3, but you still have to be careful because over-supplementing D3 would also be bad for your leopard gecko.
And then this is water dechlorinator.
Or water conditioner.
Water conditioner, I believe I called it on the list. To get the chlorine out of the water. The spray bottle.
We got this from Target,
Spraying down the...
literally. It was like
Moist hide.
$1. You can get it from pretty much the dollar store, Home Depot, pretty much anywhere you can get a spray bottle.
and a scale. Oops.
That's the wrong button.
We like to weigh him every month or so. When we first got him,
Yeah.
he was under 20 grams, and now he's around 60 at 7 months old. So it's kind of neat to be able to weigh him and
Weigh my finger?
keep track of that. So that is about everything.
Also, you've seen his box. This is just a box with some like fabric on the bottom. It's all messed up because he got stuck to it, but also poked a hole in the top. There's holes on the sides. It's just a regular shoebox. It's just a good thing when we don't want to handle him while he's out. We can just put him in there, close the lid, make sure he's safe.
And in addition to the list of all the items we use, I'm going to put a link or two to some descriptions just on leopard gecko care in general. Obviously, everything doesn't need to be exactly the way we have it, but it's worked out very well for us so far.
Also, just a side note, we got our leopard gecko from Reptilian Arts at a reptile show. He's been good. I don't know. He didn't have any, like, weird diseases or anything. Like, he didn't have parasites. He wasn't underweight or anything. So, just be careful where you get your leopard gecko from, because things can go downhill if they're sick. But that's pretty much all we have. So all links are in the description. And we'll see you next time.